Hello, am I audible? Eh,
Audible, sir.
Okay, okay. So, how are you? How are you all? Just
Fine, sir.
after 2 weeks, we have met again. So for your reminder again, I am Sourav Chakravarty. Completed my undergraduation from BCKV and currently pursuing MSc Entomology and IRI New Delhi. Okay, I have secured All India Rank 1 in 2022 Nematology and Entomology JRF. So today's topic of discussion is about insect taxonomy, especially Apterygota. So before starting today's class, just I want to ask how much is covered in morphology portion. Any one of you please reply. How much portion has been covered in morphology? Actually, what happens now? This taxonomy is nothing but the allocation of the morphological data in a specific set. Okay, antenna, legs, and wings are covered. Okay. So nothing, taxonomy is nothing but the allocation of the morphological details of insects as we are reading insect taxonomy. So allocation of the morphological details of the insects in a particular way means you read the wings. What is wings? Means what are the different types of wings, like scaly wings? When we are talking about the scaly wings. So you think that it is Lepidopterans. When we are talking about halteres, you think that it's about Diptera. Similarly for antenna, it's there. Uh, if we say legs, then there is something like this. So allocation of this particular morphological details, like if we're talking scaly wings, Lepidoptera, again, uh, antenna type, maybe bipectinate or capitate or clubbed. So you think like this, it may be a Lepidoptera. So like this, you have to allocate the morphological details of a particular insect, then your taxonomical details will be okay. There is not only the morphological details, it will also include the molecular details also, but it's not of your topic, your syllabus. Only the morphological details are to be understood. Okay. So please be with me because it should be an interactive session. Because I am giving the topic after Rigota, but I don't know how much I will cover because it's all about basics of insect taxonomy. First of all, I need to know that how much basics you have regarding insect taxonomy. Otherwise, if you just blindly read and read, you will not remember anything. Or you will remember for the exam, but in the future perspective, it is very difficult for you to understand as well as remember the topics. So basics of insect taxonomy is very important. And for that, allocation of the morphological details in particular group is very much important again. Okay. So, so the basics of insect taxonomy. Uh, are the slides are visible? Anyone please reply. Suraj again, you please
Yes, sir.
reply. Okay, it's visible, na? Okay, good. So basics of insect taxonomy means how anyone can anyone say that how insects are classified? Very basic. Insects are classified based on what? Means which morphological features or which morphological part? Any one of you, please. Okay, Johnson Sena. Yes, exactly. Wing. Presence of wings or absence of wings. Okay. So basically, insects are classified as based on the presence of wing. If wings, sorry. Just a minute. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so insects are classified based on the presence or absence of the wings. If wings present, then it is pterygote. If wings are absent, then it is apterygote. This much is clear for all. Okay, so as we read different literatures, we always know that primarily wingless and secondarily wingless. What do you mean by primarily wingless and what do you mean by secondarily wingless? Anyone of you? Atul, Digal, Atul, anyone of you, please tell. Then Saxena,
सर जो इंसेक्ट का सर हमेशा से सर मतलब उत्पत्ति के सर हमेशा विंगलेस थे सर।
please tell again.
सर जिनकी सर उत्पत्ति सर विंगलेस हुई थी मतलब अगर
Yes, yes, exactly. I understand. Primarily wingless means their occurrence, not occurrence, their primarily wingless means they do not have wings in any time when they were first developed or first uh, their fossils were found. They were not winged, means the wing bird has never been developed. They are known as primarily wingless. Your true apterygote insects are nothing but the primarily wingless insects. You know the four orders, na? All read four orders: Thysanura, Collembola, then Protura and Dipleura. They are all primarily wingless insects. Primarily wingless because their wing bud has never been developed. But what happens in case of secondarily wingless insects? Their wing buds are developed at a particular point of time. Okay, but with the time being, wings are shed or wings are not developed yet again for their evolutionary aspect or for their life being, etc., etc. So these are known as the secondarily wingless insects. There are different kind of secondarily wingless insects, especially you can find in the hemipteroid groups, as you know all, or some orthopteroids also. You will get some secondarily wingless insects. So the thing is that we are divided insects into two portions. One is apterygote and the other one is pterygote. Okay. Now pterygote insects means those are winged. They are divided into two parts again. One is exopterygota and another one is endopterygota. है ना? So why we are telling ki exopterygote and endopterygote? Can anyone answer it? Why we are telling exopterygote and endopterygote? Any one of you, please reply. Prashant, Prashant Verma, Shirvani, anyone? Suraj, anyone? एक्सोप्टेरिगोट और एंडोप्टेरिक का मतलब क्या है? वही बताना है।
Exopterygota means externally developed, sir. Wings, sir.
एक्सटर्नली, हाँ सभी वही बोलते हैं दैट विंग्स डेवलप्ड एक्सटर्नली और विंग्स डेवलप्ड इंटरनली।
Yes,
आई
exo,
वांट टू नो। हाँ टेल।
external, sir. Endo, internal development.
यस यस, I know that everyone tells like this, but I want to know one thing, that what do you mean by externally developed wings or internally developed wings? That is my question. Everyone tells wing originated internally, wing originated externally, but what do you mean by that external or internal matter? Can anyone answer it? Okay. For this, you need to know the metamorphosis. I think all of you know that metamorphosis, that's some slight or gradual metamorphosis. Another one is complete metamorphosis. Most of the exopterygote insects have gradual metamorphosis, and endopterygotes have complete metamorphosis. When you have gradual metamorphosis, that means you have egg, then nymphs, then adult. You have egg, then nymph, then adult. When you have endopterygote insects, you have egg, larva, pupa, and adult. These four. Okay. So just tell one thing. Wing buds are developed at which stage of exopterygotes? Eggs, nymphs, or adults? Wing buds, not the wings.
Nymph, sir.
Exactly, nymphs. And nymphs are always external affairs. Nymphs are not encased. Most of the cases, nymphs are not encased. So the nymphs are externally developed. That's why the wing buds are developed in nymphs, and that is why it is known as exopterygot or externally developed wings. And in case of endopterygotes, just see the comment box, and one of you have typed that during pupal stages, wing development occurs. That's why endopterygot. Exactly, because the wing development occurs inside the cocoon. Okay, not inside the pupa. Pupa and cocoons are a bit different. Cocoon is the outer covering. Within the cocoon, there is a pupa. Okay, so the wing bud develop inside the cocoon, like this. Okay, that's why inside the cocoon means ki it is internal affair. That is why it is known as endopterygot, and that's why you are telling ki wings developed externally, wings developed internally. Okay, so it is something like this. This particular concept, many of you has not known. Just you read wings developed externally, wings developed internally. So this is the concept behind this. Okay. So, what are the differences between apterygot and pterygot? I have mentioned some points here. Is there are some meanings of this point, because based on these particular points, the um, difference have been formulated. Okay. So first difference, what could be? Wing. Wings are primarily not developed, means wings are not developed, wings are not present in apterygotes, wings are present in pterygotes. Everyone know this. I have mentioned metamorphosis because metamorphosis is not there, or very slight metamorphosis is there in apterygotes. In pterygotes, there could be complete metamorphosis, there could be gradual metamorphosis. Very good. Last three points. Mandibular articulation, pleural sulcus, pregenital appendages of abdomen. So we will come one by one. Mandibular articulation. Okay. What is mandible? Any one of you please tell. Any one of you, what is mandible? It's very basic question. अनन्या, अरे यार, अपर जॉ. हाँ, थोड़ा समझाओ. व्हाट इज मैंडिबल? अपर जॉ. ठीक है, इट्स ओके. Mandibles, why mandibles are used like this? Ananya, okay, used to grinding the food. Okay, used to cutting and grinding. It's very good. Okay. So, what do you mean by the mandibular articulation? Mandibular articulation. Okay. You know that mandibles are attached to head capsule. Okay. Suppose this is the head capsule. Mandibles are attached like this. Two portions are attached like this. Okay. And suppose this is the mandible. This is one kind of mandible. This is another kind of mandible. Both are mandibles. MD कर देते हैं. Mandible 1, mandible 2. Okay. So why I'm telling about the morphology? Because in morphology, you definitely know that mandibles are generally attached to the head capsule by 2 points. One is ginglymus, another one is condyle. जिंगलाइमस एंड कंडाइल, जैसे लिखते हैं थोड़ा, कंडाइल. Okay, so you can take that it is Jinglimus, it is condyle. Means two different point of articulations is there. Whereas in this case, there is only one articulation, only one point, only this point. No other point of articulation is there. So we can consider it only condyle. Okay, so in mandible 1, there is 2 points by which it can be articulated with the head capsule. One is ginglymus, another one is condyle. That is why it is known as dicondylic. Okay, and as because there is only one point of articulation, that is condyle, it is known as monocondylic. Understand? Have you understood this? Condylic or dicondylic, monocondylic? I think yes. Okay. So in all the apterygotes, there is monocondylic articulation of mandible. All the apterygotes. Especially if I mentioned Collembola, Protura, Diplura, CPD. Okay. Thysanura is bit different. That's why I'm not mentioning here. Thysanura is bit different from this. That is why I'm not mentioned. And all the pterygote insects, maybe it is exopterygote, maybe it is endopterygotes, all they have this dicondylic articulation of the mandible. So this is the mandibular articulation based on which you can simply classify the apterygotes and the pterygotes. Okay. Is it fine? Anyone? Is it fine? कोई तो बोलो. Okay, very good. Please reply immediately. It will be better for me. Next point, pleural sulcus. Pleural sulcus. Okay. Hmm. Pleural sulcus. PLE. Pleural sulcus. Anyone know about pleural sulcus? What is pleural sulcus? Anyone of you? I think it is not possible for you to know. That's why I'm telling. I think you have heard about this term, episternum. You are telling that lateral suture. Okay, it's one kind of lateral suture, but I need some specific answers. Okay, okay, it's no problem. Have you heard about this term, episternum? Episternum, anyone? Have you heard about this term? Please tell. Suraj, have you heard episternum? Okay, I think all of you heard about episternum. Episternum is nothing but the ventral portion of the pleura. Ventral portion of the pleura. For your understanding, I just say that, okay, this is your pleura. Okay, this is the ventral side of the pleura. Suppose thoracic pleura. Okay, for better, to be specific, thoracic pleura. Okay, so this particular portion, that is the ventral side, is known as episternum. Episternum. Okay, for uh, more understanding, you should know that episternum is divided into two portions. Okay, this is the anterior portion. It is known as uh, some anterior episternum, and it is known as the posterior episternum. Okay, there is some specific terminology. I just have not remembered right now. So it is anterior episternum, posterior episternum. So the particular sulcus which simply divides these two episternum, that is anterior portion and the posterior portion, is known as pleural sulcus. Okay. For you, just remember sulcus and suture, these are two terminologies. These two terminologies are same. Okay. But in actually in entomology, these two terminologies have little bit different. But you just remember that sulcus and suture are same. Okay. So these suture or this sulcus which divides anterior episternum and posterior episternum is known as the pleural sulcus. Okay, so these pleurals, what happened? This pleural sulcus is continuing up to the wing process from where the wings are developed. Wings are developed like this, na? In this area, there are some pleural wing process, and this particular pleural suture is continued up to this pleural wing process. Okay, so based on this, you can easily remember that apterygotes do not have pleural suture, pleural sulcus, and pterygotes definitely have pleural sulcus. Okay, because it is up to the wing process. It is continued up to the wing process, and apterygotes do not have wings. That's why they do not have the pleural sulcus. So based on that, you can easily remember that the pleural sulcus is absent in apterygotes. Pleural sulcus is present in case of pterygotes. Okay. And lastly, the pregenital abdominal appendages. The abdominal appendages which are before the genital appendages. Genital appendages, all of you know that it may be ovipositor in case of females, or it may be some others, the male genitalia for males. Okay, but the pregenital appendages, that is the the genital segments are generally 8th and 9th for female and 9th for the male. So before that, what are the abdominal segments are there from 1 to 7? They contain some sorts of abdominal appendages, which is present in case of pterygotes, which is absent in case of which is present in case of apterygotes, which is absent in case of pterygotes. Like if I tell one example, like styly. Styly is present on all the pterygotes. That is the reduced abdominal legs, styly. Okay. Then colophore, furcula, retinaculum or tenaculum. These are all the pregenital appendages which are present on the apterygotes only. It's a very specific feature. Okay. So these are few differences I have tried to explain. So I think all of you have understood this. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay. So come to today's topic only, Apterygota. Apterygota. As I have mentioned that apterygotes are primarily wingless. You know? So why to study Apterygota? This is a very brief point specific class. So I would request all of you to read the Insecta, refresher and treatise, whatever you have for JRF. It will become more clear. Okay. So why it's to study the Apterygota? Because it is one of the very oldest insect groups. As you know, I think you have read the refresher first chapter, where there is a mention that first fossil insects. Anyone of you know the first fossil insect? Which is the first fossil insect that has been that had been discovered? Okay, maybe you forget. It is Rhiniella precursor. You please check the spelling in internet or book. It is a Collembola, which is an apterygote insect. Okay, probably in 1929. by Hurst and Maulik. Hirst, Hurst and Maulik. They had discovered this particular insect fossil. Okay, that is the first insect fossil that has been discovered. Okay, so it is one of the oldest because it is mentioned by different taxonomies that from Apterygota the pterygotes have been developed, and not only the pterygotes have been developed, the whole process of development exopterygot and endopterygot comes from the Apterygota only. Okay, and they live in different types of habitats because you the portions which generally we forget to check, that particular portions contain lots of apterygot insects. Your Thysanura, this happens in your books, जो पुराने बुक होते हैं, बाइंडिंग्स होते हैं, कैलेंडर्स होते हैं, उसमें रहते हैं. Then soil is a great reservoir of the collembolans, protura, then diplura. Okay, leaf deposits. Different collembolans are there in the leaf deposits because collembolans are considered as one of the great soil decomposers. Okay, like then ecologically and economically they are very much important because some of them are pests, maybe of crops, maybe of household or products, and definitely ecologically important because they are soil decomposers, as I have mentioned. And what important more taxonomically is different contrasting characters from a normal insect, like absence of antenna, absence of wing. When we read about the definition of the insects, but what we know that it's a six-legged arthropod having wings in the adult stages. But the Apterygota is the only one that do not have any wings. Even their wing buds are not developed from their start of development, from the start of development. So that is why it is important because different contrasting characters are there. In taxonomy, what we do, um, we simply collect the different contrasting characters from one another. So that is why Apterygot is a great reserve of organisms which will give different contrasting characters from a normal insect. And there are so on differences. That is why it is very much important to study the Apterygota. So next up is the four orders I've mentioned: Collembola, then Protura, then Diplura, and Hysanura. These are the four orders you remembered. These are the Apterygot orders. Everyone know. So I've mentioned one another thing, that is Entognatha. Entognatha and Ectognatha. Okay. Anyone of you know about Entognatha and Ectognatha? Anyone of you? Can you please again say that? Yes. Okay, I will come to your query again. Just I will complete the session, then I will come. Okay. Okay, what is Entognatha and what is Ectognatha? Anyone of you know? Natha. Natha means something associated with mouth parts. Okay, mouth parts. Ento means inside, and ecto means outside. So if the mouth parts are inside, then it is Entognatha. If the mouth parts are outside, then it is known as Ectognatha. It is very easy. But again, the question comes, what do you mean by inside and outside? Anna, what do you mean by inside and outside? Ecto means out, endo means in. Okay. So if I tell starting with upper lip labrum, it will always be outside. Right? It is always be outside. But the next three things, that is mandible, maxillae, and labium. These three, the position of these three are important. This may be inside, this may be outside. Like see, for human beings, upper lips and lower lips are outside. Upper jaw and lower jaw are inside. like this only. Okay. So those insects where these mandibles, maxilla, and labium, these three are present in a pouch. In a pouch, these three portions are there. In that cases, it is known as entognatha. And where it is simple outside, like this, and this, then it is known as ectognatha. In simple language, what I say, mandibles, maxilla, and labium, or the mouth parts, are inserted in a nathal pouch or in a pouch. Then it is known as entognatha. If it is not inserted in a pouch, if it is outside, then it is known as ectognatha. Okay. So among the apterygotes, your Colem, Bola, Protura, and Diplura. These three only are entognatha. Your Thysanura, it is a ectognatha. The mouth, the mouth, the mouth parts are outside in case of ectognatha, and inside in case of entognatha, as I have there. So you please remember that Colembola, Protura, Diplura, these are entognaths. Thysanura itself is an ectognath. Okay. Okay, good. So um, I think most of you have studied the taxonomy portion, yet I am covering uh, what happens when you read taxonomy, how you can read the taxonomy. Any Suraj, how you can read the taxonomy? How you read? Just tell only this. Have you read taxonomy, Suraj? Or anyone? Veer? Anyone of you? I think all of you read the taxonomy, and most of yeah, based on order. Okay. No, I just tell that if you are given an order like Lepidoptera, how you read the taxonomy means how you read from book, how you read the taxonomy, whether you just read whatever written in the book line by line, or you are following a specific order, like say I'm telling Lepidoptera, so how the head is there, how the thorax will be there, how the abdomen will be there, like this. Okay. So most of you, even sometimes me, in when I was in my BSc, what I have given, I was done, ki just read line by line, and eventually I forgot with time. Okay. So one of our teachers were there. He just suggested me to read the how one insect has three portions, like head, thorax, and abdomen. Now you please study what are the head characteristics of that particular order, whether it is hypognathus or prognathus or opistognathus, like this. Then just compile the facts, whether there is presence or absence of compound eyes, whether there are presence or absence of ocelli, what is the mouth parts, means either it is biting, either it is piercing, either it is sucking, whatever it is. Remember like this only. Okay, then thorax, come to the thorax. Which portion of the thorax is well developed? Either it is meso or meta. Wings, how is the different types of wings, whether wings are membranous or wings are scaly, like this. Okay, then comes to the abdomen. What are the special abdominal characters? If there are special appendages, what about their ovipositor or genitalia, like this only. So you have to read the taxonomy like this, then only it will be interesting. Okay. So I have written only the major characteristics here. There are saint number of characteristics of Collembola. It's very important order, both economically and ecologically. But I have written only the major characteristics. Like, see, first, mouthparts inside the head capsule means I've already told it is entognath. Entognath. Okay. only the tips of the mouthparts are exposed. See in this photo, only these tips are exposed. Just see the red area. This is the tips of the mouthparts. Okay, this is only exposed. Then wingless primarily, and it doesn't have any ovipositor. Means egg-laying apparatus is not there. Special egg-laying apparatus is not there. Okay, so these are few major characteristics that I have mentioned here, but there are a lot of characteristics regarding ocelli, compound eye, tracheal system like this. So I have to study from the book itself. Okay, so one thing I have there, this is the phylogenetic tree, one phylogenetic tree. It is Entognatha. Okay, so see how I have differentiated the characters. Entognatha, I have mentioned Entognatha comprises of three orders: Collembola, Protura, and Diplura. Okay, so Entognatha, if Circe is not there, then it could be Collembola or Protura. If Circe is there, then it should be Diplura. So when you are reading about Entognats, firstly, the first character, that if there is Circe, means it should be Diplura. There is nothing more. But if the Circe is not there, then what you have to check? You have to check about the antenna. If this antenna is there, then it is definitely Collembola. If there is no antenna, then it should be Protura. Like this, the taxonomy will be easy for you to remember, for you to be understood. Okay. So it is something like this I've mentioned for just for an example. Okay. So this is a very basic thing. You just read yourself that what is about the Collembola. It is saprophagus, it is phytophagus, it is pollen, fungal spore, all these things it can eat. But most of them, the best repository of Collembola is soil. These are the excellent decomposers. Okay. And I have mentioned the fossil history. Please remember this name, fossil name, Rhyniella precursor. Okay. It is 1926. Just you have to remember this. Okay. These are few more characters of Collembola. Okay. Like if I study with the head portion, first we have to study the compound eye, whether there is a presence or absence of compound eye. Okay. So in most of the Apterygota, compound eyes are not yet developed. Some of them they have the compound eyes, but in most of the cases, compound eyes are not developed. So we can easily tell that compound eye absent. Okay, and then subsequently it comes. What about the ocelli? है ना? Ocelli, in case of the Collembola, is rudimentary. Okay, it's rudimentary because there are different authorities, they do it differently. Some of them told that ocelli are developed, some of them tell ocelli are rudimentary. Most of the authors followed this. The Collembola has some rudimentary eyes, which is nothing but a patch of few ommatidia. Most of the authors like this, but if you see in your insecta, it will directly tell that these ocelli are this eyes are nothing but the dorsal ocelli, forming one eye patch. You see this SEM photo, see this one, you can see that different eye-like structure are present in patches. This is known as the uh, rudimentary eyes, dorsal ocelli, whatever you can say. It is known as simply eye patch. Eye patch. Okay. Many authorities has said it as post antennal organ. Why? Because it is just behind the antenna. That's why it is post antennal organ. Post means posterior antennal organ. Posterior means it is behind. So it is known as post antennal organ also. So what is the different terminology? Same thing, different terminologies by different authorities. Like eye patch, as per your insecta is concerned, it is eye patch. Eye patch is nothing but the patches of dorsal ocelli. If we see other authorities, they told ki it is the patch of rudimentary eyes, nothing but patch of few ommatidia only there, which is nothing but the post-antennal organ. Why? Because it is located just behind the antenna. That is why it's not post-antennal organ. So like this only. Okay. Then how is the mouth parts? It is hypognathous. Means mouth parts are projected in right angle to the body axis, just like your grasshopper's mouth parts. This is the mouth parts, this is the body axis. Okay. So it is 90-degree angle. So like this only. Antenna is present, and for your information, it is 4-segmented antenna. 4-segmented का मतलब क्या है? एक है what do we tell? The vessel scape, one for pedicel, and 2 flagellar segment. One scape, one pedicel, and 2 flagellar segments are there. Okay. So these flagellar segments, just for your information, these flagellar segments contain the intrinsic muscles, which is a very specific thing for these entognats. Generally, flagellar segments of antenna do not contain the muscles. Okay. Generally, they do not have the muscles, but in case of entognatha, they do have the muscles, except the last flagellar segment. They do have the muscles in the flagellar segments. Scape and pedicel always musculated. There is no doubt. Scape and pedicel are always musculated. Flagellum are generally not musculated, but in case of entognatha, except the last flagellar segment, they are musculated. Okay. Then see, legs are there, 6 legs, but they are 4-segmented. Generally, legs are 5-segmented. 5 true segments that there in the legs: coxa, trochanter, femur, tibia, tarsus. These 5 true segments. But in case of Collembola, there is coxa, trochanter, femur, and tibiotarsus. Why? Because the tibia and tarsus are fused. That is why it is known as tibiotarsus. Why is this not audible? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Uh, how this tibiotarsus is audible, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay, some of you have told ki audible, voice is not audible. That's why. Okay, okay. So generally what happens in normal insect leg, there are 5 true segments: coxa, trochanter, femur, tibia, tarsus. Tarsus is not coxa, trochanter, femur, tibia, and tarsus. Okay. Pretarsus is another segment which is not considered as a true segment. Okay, but in case of Collembola, the legs are 4-segmented. Why? Because tibia and tarsus are fused. There is no special segmentation. That is why it is known as 4-segmented legs. So, what is important for you to remember? Antenna is 4-segmented, legs are 4-segmented. Okay, for Collembola. It is an extra term. You please remember that they are in trochanter. In case of Collembola, in trochanter, there are groups of small setae. Okay, this is nothing but some sensory organs. These are known as trochanteral organ. Why? Because they are located in trochanter. That's why it is known as trochanteral organ. So it is a groups of small setae, not spar, not spine, not anything more. It is simple setae. Okay, that's macrotrachea. So this is all about the thorax. Then if you come to the abdomen, it is 6-segmented abdomen. Yet again, you have to remember this: 4-segmented antenna, 4-segmented legs, then 6-segmented abdomen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is not like the other, the 11-segmented abdomen, 12-segmented abdomen, not like this. It is 6-segmented abdomen, and there is no cerci. No cerci are there. Only 6-segmented abdomen is there. Okay. And as I mentioned, the Apterygota, they have the pregenital abdominal appendages. So 3 pairs of pregenital abdominal appendages are there. You remember, first abdominal segment contains colophore or ventral tube, or it is also known as glue peg. Okay. Third abdominal segment contains retinaculum or tenaculum. It is also known as tenaculum. Also may be known as patch. And fourth segment, it contains the major organ, that is furcula, or some authorities says it is furca, like this. Okay, it is the major organ, that is the springing organ, which actually helps the insect to jump, okay, or spring. So these are the three major pregenital abdominal appendages which are present in Collembola. Okay. So as I say that colophore or ventral tube or glue peg, you know this because this is an organ of adhesion. This is organ of, some authorities say it is organ of respiration. Some authorities say it is organ of water absorption. Okay, different types of different works are there. This particular colophore. Okay. Okay. Am I audible? Anyone? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. This particular colophore has different functions, starting with organ of adhesion be uh, to be attached with some smooth surface, then respiration, then what I tell, water absorption, like this. Retinaculum, what is the work of this? What is the function? This retinaculum is nothing but it helps to hold the springing organ when it is not in use. And furca, I've mentioned that it is helping springing or jumping. Okay. Another thing, tracheal system is usually absent in Collembola, but in many cases they are present, like Sminthurus. Sminthurus viridis, you know, it is a pest of some forage crops, alfalfa and lucerne. Then Malpighian tubules are not there. Excretion occurs through the fat bodies. Okay, these are few important informations. Okay, this is the pictorial representation. Colophore, retinaculum, furcula. You can get it any book, any insecta you can get very easily. This is Sminthurus. Okay, so one thing I have to mention that colophore is bilobed organ. These small things always you missed. Colophore is bilobed organ. Retinaculum is also bilobed organ. Furcula, it is trilobed organ. Okay, means three parts are there. You can see here. The basal portion is known as manubrium. Middle portion is known as dens, containing some hairs, and the last portion, the anterior most portion, which contains some claw-like structures, that is known as mucro. Yeah, probably you have read in nematology also. Mucro is nothing but claw. Sorry, we always use this term to give an idea about the claw. So that is known as mucro. So that is why it is known as it is trilobe, manubrium, dens, and mucro. Similarly, for retinaculum, there is two portion. One is sorry, not for retinaculum. It is for colophore. It has two portion. That is corpus. Another one is probably rami. Basal portion is known as corpus. Another portion is known as rami. So it is two two lobed, means two portions are there. Okay, so like this, you just remember colophore is bilobed, retinaculum is also bilobed, furcula or furca is trilobed. Okay. Okay, then comes to another order, that is Protura. Protura is very interesting order because it does not have any antenna. No antenna at all. All the other characters like wings are not there. This is very much similar, but there is no antenna. So antenna is sensory in nature, you know. So if the insect does not have any antenna, who will do this work? Sensory perception. For that reason, it has long four legs. Okay, just see this same photo. This or this particular big portion. This is the four legs which are very much long and projected in front of the head, just like antenna. And this is sensory in nature. So If there is no antenna, then no problem. Protura have 4 legs. Okay. The head is prognathous. Just you see here, it is prognathous head. Compound eyes are not there. Then compound eyes are not there. Then what about ocelli? Definitely question will occur. Most of the authorities say they do not even have any ocelli. They do not have compound eyes. They do not have ocelli. Then what they have? They have, sorry, not here. They have this particular organ, pseudoculi. Pseudoculi, or singular it is pseudoculus, which is nothing but some flap of cuticle having some chemoreceptory activities and some photoreception activities. So it is believed that this pseudoculus can act as a eye. Okay, so no problem. Protuberance has pseudoculi. This term is not present in your insecta book. Just you please note, take a note of it. Okay. Then wings are not there. Cerci is not again there. Styli. Styli on abdominal segments 1, 2, 3. First 3 abdominal segments contain the styli. Styli is nothing but the reduced abdominal legs. Reduced abdominal legs. In the modern insect, there is no legs in the abdomen, but in the primitive insect, those insects which are primitive, they do have some reduced abdominal legs, that is in the form of styli. So styli is present in the first 3 abdominal segments. It is there in the book, that is insecta. Then anamorphic development. I think you have known the anamorphic development. Then that's why I'm not explaining this all. Tarsi is one segmented with one claw. This is important. Everyone read tarsi one segmented, but how many number of claws are there? It is either one or it is two. It is one in case of Protura. Okay, so just take a note of it, some small points, because you simply forget these points. Okay, try to take a note of it. Then simply we move another order, that is Diplura. Diplura means two, di means two, and ura means tail. Simply it has two tails, means two cerci are there. Okay. See these two, they both belongs to Diplura. Both are looking different, but they are looking different. See, they are looking different, but their order is almost same. Cerci. Cerci is the actual point of difference. Their order is same, but the familial diversity is because of their cerci. See here, it is filiform. It is long and it is filiform. But in this case, it is something like your sickle shepherd, short and sickle shepherd, like this. Okay. So these are some differences in cerci present in Diplura. If we see the general characters of Diplura, you see there is no compound eyes. Yet again, there is no compound eyes. So what about the ocelli? Authorities says that ocelli is also not there. Okay. So I don't know about anything, any literature said that it has compound eyes and it has ocelli, but most of the authorities, or all the authorities says they do not have any kind of compound eyes, they do not have any kind of ocelli. The head is prognathous. Then epimorphic development. You know, if you know the anamorphosis, then you should know the epimorphic development. Epimorphic development means during each molting, the number of segments are not increased or decreased. It is similar throughout each molting. Okay. Then 11 apparent segments, cerci are present. You can see here. Abdominal segments 2 to 7 with styli. As I have mentioned, styli is nothing but reduced abdominal legs. Okay, so 2 to 7. This is varied always. It is different in different families, but you simply remember 2 to number 7. These abdominal segments contain the styli, and it has two tarsal claws, not one. Protura has one tarsal claw. Diplura has two tarsal. Diplura has two tarsal claws. Okay. So you have to remember these small things. Then Thysaneura. The last one is the Thysaneura. Why I've kept it is last? Because Thysaneura is a bridge. It is nothing but it is a bridge between the apterygotes and pterygotes. Okay, Thysaneura acts as a bridge because there are several characters of pterygote insects are there. Like one I have mentioned already, the mandibular articulation, which is dicondylic in case of Thysaneura. And some characters are also based on the Apterygota, like it does not have any wings. So that is why it acts as a bridge between the Apterygota and Pterygota. Okay. So this is what are the different characters. Antenna is prominent, eyes are reduced or absent, may also be present in different families. Like three families given in refresher. One is Tricholepidae. Tricholepidae, it has compound eyes. Then Nicoletidae, it doesn't have anything, no compound eyes, no ocelli. Okay, and in between there is another order. I just forget this order. That family that contains only ocelli, no compound eyes are there. Okay, please check in the entomology refresher book. Then ectognathous mouthparts, mandibles are dicondylic as I mentioned. Body is glistening, covered with scales. Okay, remember this. Not only Lepidoptera covered with scales, rather the Thysaneura also covered with glistening scales. So similar thing, it is a phylogenetic tree. See, Collembola, Protura, and Diplura, they are entognatha. Okay, and then Thysaneura is the apterygote insect order with ectognathous mouthparts. Ectognathous mouthparts. You just forget about this microcoryphea because it is not under the IMS classification, so just forget about it. You just take Collembola, Protura, Diplura, and Thysaneura. That's it. Then thoracic structure, if I say wings are absent, primarily legs are cursorial. Remember, legs are cursorial. Tarsi are 2 to 5 segmented. Before that, we have only one segmented tarsus. Okay. In Thysaneura, that is 2 to 5 segmented. Most of the cases, it has 3 segmented tarsi. Okay. Thorax may be depressed like this. Okay. Then the abdominal structures. One thing, it is 11 segmented abdomen, contain the bilateral styli, as I mentioned, that is reduced abdominal legs. Generally, from segment number 2 to 9, it contains the styli, and in some cases, it is 7 to 9. Okay, 2 to 9 and 7 to 9 based on different families. Okay, it contains the reduced abdominal legs or styli. Another point, the abdominal segments contain the stylus. This is the stylus I've mentioned. The stylus is developed from some sclerite. That sclerite is known as coxite. Coxite. Okay. So in case of Thysaneura, these coxites and the normal abdominal sternites are fused with each other, forming a organ, forming a portion known as coxosternum. Remember this terminology. Coxosternum is present in Thysaneura only. Take a note of it, please. Then 11 segment contains 2 cerci and 1 median caudal filament. Okay. So just see and you please read the Insecta and other books for a better understanding again. Now, the female ones, it contains elongated jointed ovipositor. Just see like this. These are the ovipositor actually. Here it is given in very hard terminologies, gonapophysis, 8, 9. Just remember these gonapophysis are ovipositors, nothing more. These gonapophysis are ovipositor and There are two pairs of gonapophysis. These two pairs of gonapophysis form the ovipositor of the Thysaneura female, which is elongated and jointed. Only this only. And lastly, if I tell the biology of the Thysaneura, many of the apterygot insects, they do not have any copulation. Why? Because most of the cases in males, they simply deposit the spermatophores in the water bodies, and the females will take up it. Okay, so it is a indirect insemination occurs in their body. So there is no need of copulation. And another thing, molting continues to the adult stage, up to the adult stage. The total number of molts are considerable. You can see different numbers of molts are there. So most of the species live from 1 to 4 years. Means they live for more and more years. Okay. So this is all about, in very brief, the apterygot insects. There are many other points which I have left. You just please refer to any standard book, like as per your JRF is concerned, Insecta, Entomology Refresher, Entomology Treatise. Okay. And one question is again there. I've heard that exopterygot and endopterygot. Exo and endo. Exo means out, endo means in. Okay. So exopterygot insect, just see the metamorphosis of them. Endopterygot insect, their metamorphosis. Exopterygot has egg, nymph, adult. Endopterygot has egg, larva, pupa, adult. Okay. So see where the wing buds are developed in case of exopterygot insects. It is the nymphs from where the wing buds are developed, which is totally proliferated during the adult. So nymph is nothing but a external affair. Nymphs are present in the field only. It is not protected in a case, most of the nymphs. So that is why the developments of wings occur in the nymphs, which is an external affair. That is why it is known as exopterygot. Whereas in case of endopterygot insects, the wing buds are developed in the cocoon, means inside the cocoon. This is the cocoon, and here it is the pupa. The wing buds are developed here, means inside the pupa, which is enclosed within a cocoon. This is cocoon, this is pupa. So wing buds are developed in the pupa, which is enclosed in a cocoon, which is a internal affair. That is why we tell that it is endopterygot. That is wing developed internally, and in case of exopterygots, wing developed externally. Okay. Is it okay? Who has given the question? V. Okay. Another point, primarily wingless and secondarily wingless. देखो, primarily wingless means it doesn't have any kind of wing since it's has first discovered. Okay, means there is a time when Thysaneura has discovered, Collembola has discovered, Protura has discovered, and Diplora has discovered. They do not have wings in any point of their start of development, any point of their discovery. They do not have any kind of wings. That is known as primarily wingless, means they are totally wingless. Chhod do, primarily, secondarily chhod do. Simply wingless. They are totally wingless because they do not have any wings. Okay. But see, in case of head louse, see in case of some other insects like flea. Okay. What are the species you can find today? They do not have any wings. Wings are absent in those insects. But if you see their ancestors, a long ancestors, they do have some wings. Wings are present in case of ancestors. Okay, wings are present in ancestors. By the time of evolution or by the time of their development, somehow the wings are not needed for their daily life, being for their feeding, for their parasitism, the wings are not needed. That's why as the time goes on, the wings totally fall off, wings buds totally fall off. That is why they are now wingless. That is the reason when we are talking about the secondarily wingless, means primarily they are winged, but as the time goes on, due to the course of evolution, their wings are fallen off. That is why they are now wingless. These insects are known as secondarily wingless insects. Okay, is it fine? Repeat. Okay, very good. So that's all for today's class. If you have any doubts, you can contact any one of the mentors, because the mentors are always be there as per their time schedule, because they are also busy. So that's all from today. Just give a feedback of this class. I know that I have completed the portions with very rapidly or very fast. I just know if you have any doubts, you can contact in the WhatsApp group. You can ask, put on a question. We'll be there to answer. Okay. If you are interested, you can take our master course to get a full-fledged PDFs, mock test series, and whatever it is, to get a full-fledged uh, preparation set for entomology and nematology for your upcoming JRF examination. So if you are interested, you can contact here. Okay. That's all for today. Thank you for attending the class.